Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and a very warm welcome to this webinar on behalf of VLA Virtual Legal Advisory and Sana Pirzada Legal Solutions. Happy International Women's Day to all the women out there, and especially to all the wonderful women over here who've been kind enough to join this webinar. Could I kindly request all the ladies over here to please put your mics on mute so as to stop this from echoing? Thank you so much. So let me just explain the purpose of this webinar. We are amidst a huge era of turmoil. Uh, there's a lot of sadness, a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of tragedy around us as we speak. And this is something that we were just talking about before the webinar. Zehra, you rightly said that every 10 minutes there is a new development, and with it comes more fears and more apprehensions for the future. But Women's Day is a day that I have always cherished. I have always held it very close to my heart because we as women have always stood with each other, and that is how we have risen. I have received some immense support from my friend circle, and which is why I wanted to bring you all over here today because you are some of those friends who have done a lot for me. You have done a lot in your own respective fields. When we look at this day's theme of Give to Gain, I know how much you all have contributed to the community. And I wanted to recognize you all. I wanted to recognize how brilliant you are, how exceptional you are, how kind you have been to me, and how superb you have been to the community. But before I officially begin, there's a very short poem that I've written for this day, which highlights the struggle of women, which highlights what this day means to me and what it means in general. And I just want to read it out before we move forward. Give respect, give voice, let compassion remain, for the strength of a woman is giving to gain. A mother bears burdens she seldom will show. A survivor of violence finds courage to grow. Women in war zones endure sorrow and pain, whilst poverty binds many in hardship's chain. Some live with illnesses no eyes can see. Some walk every day with quiet bravery. Some struggle in silence, some stand at the top. Yet even the strongest may long for a stop. For every woman carries battles unseen, quiet resilience where tears once have been. So be gentle, be kind, let compassion sustain, for people rise higher when they're not alone in the pain. Give love, give support again and again, and together we rise by giving to gain. On that note, I would actually like to officially start with Tara Uzra Dawood, who is the CEO of Dawood Global Foundation and LADIESFUND. I've known Tara for almost 6 years now. She was the guest of honor at my third book launch, Naomi Byron. That's how I got to know her. And I then joined LADIESFUND, and I have first-hand experience of how Tara has been contributing to the society over here. How has she been promoting women empowerment? How has she helped me personally? And I owe a lot to her personally and professionally as well. Tara, the floor is all yours. If you could just talk a little bit about yourself and just tell the world what does this year's theme mean to you. Thank you.
So thank you for that wonderful introduction, Sana, and for the honor for being here among these esteemed panelists. And I wish them all happy Women's Day, and you as well, and all your viewers today. I'm Tara Dawood, and I'm CEO of Dawood Global Foundation and LADIESFUND, and we have the National Awards for Women, which were the first awards in the history of Pakistan ever for women, launched March 8, 2008, in memory of Benazir Bhutto, who was my personal mentor, and I was her international fellowship winner at my third year at Harvard Law School. And it was done in her memory, but since then, we're now in year 16. There has never been a dearth of incredible Pakistani women to honor, who began with entrepreneurs, and now they're across all fields. But what also Ladies Fund does is that we have Pakistan's first all-female incubator called the Barak Center, which slogan is Watch Her Fly, and we call women startups Baraks, inspired by, of course, the Western unicorn concept of a startup that becomes $1 billion USD. We have Educate a Girl, which Sana has been a great part of, as well as Ladies Fund, in which we've educated girls in various parts of the world in various things, from early days communication and writing to now everything from ChatGPT and AI and a whole host in between. We, in addition to that, have our food rations, which is Buk Mitao, both Zakat and Sadqa versions. We have our wheelchair distribution, which is Cross 5600, and we have our water wells, Abe Nimat, where we're planting water wells across Pakistan. And the list goes on with various work we do for orphans. Another wonderful, interesting thing that we do is Ladies Fund Energy, where we have women solarizing rooftops. We've just trained 40 incredible women in rural Sindh, in addition to 25 we've done earlier in Karachi, including a couple from Baluchistan. And almost, like, for example, the 40 we just did, every single one is in hijab and a large number in niqab. And they're all climbing rooftops in hard hats. So it's really exciting. And so we're giving women opportunities and reminding themselves and each other that there's nothing they cannot do. And with the awards that began, of course, on Women's Day, we started this concept that Pakistani women are the best in the world. We didn't start it, we just recognized it. And it's something that's proven itself year after year. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction, Tara. And as I already said, I am fully aware of the scale of the work that you're doing for the community and for whatever your achievements are and how you recognize women. I think that we need more inspiring women like yourself who lift other women, who support other women, who give other women a platform. I don't see that many people in Pakistan doing what you're doing. So hats off to you. Thank you so much, Tara. Um, Zehra, I think that if you could now focus on Zahrah Vayani, I think you might have to enlarge her. Uh, yeah. So, so this is Barrister Zahrah Vayani. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about Zahrah before I give the floor to her. She, first of all, I have to say this, that she's a childhood friend. So that's the first thing. And I feel really proud to say this because of my dear friend's achievements. Um, we lost touch years ago when we were children, and then we reunited at Lincoln's Inn in 2008 when we were both being called to the bar. And we were sitting side by side, and when our names were called out, I said, "Oh, weren't we together at CJM and Jesus and Mary?" And then that's how the connection restarted. So Zahrah is a brilliant barrister. She heads Zahrah Vayani and Associates. She is also the Assistant Attorney General. She has helped so many victims of domestic violence and women going through matrimonial issues. Zahrah, thank you for being an excellent, and more than that, because this webinar is personal to me. Thank you so much for being my friend, for being my legal advisor, and for also being my therapist at times. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and thank you so much, Sana. That's a very kind introduction. I'm very glad to have rekindled our friendship many years ago now, I'd like to say. But happy Women's Day to everybody, and I'm so honored to be part of such an esteemed list of panelists, and of course, Sana, to thank for all of that. So I joined the profession in Pakistan in 2011. Before that, I was working in England, and where Sana and I also were called to the bar together. And when I came to Karachi, specifically, I was told initially that, women can't be litigators. You should go and just stay and, do corporate work because there's no scope. Judges won't take you seriously. Women can never be a partner in a law firm. Women can never run a law firm. So that was what I was sort of fed when I had entered the profession. And then, I saw that, no, if you really work hard and you build yourself up, you will actually go and achieve something. And I think that is very important, and that is something that I always say, that every woman entering the profession or entering any profession should follow by, that if you are good, your talent will be recognized, and if you put in the hard work, there's nothing that is not achievable by you because of your gender. So I in 2017, so I'm moving a bit forward, we as a collective formed the Women Lawyers Association, and that is very important because when we joined, as I said earlier, we were always discouraged from joining the profession. But by the Women Lawyers Association, we sort of made sure there was a platform for younger girls who wanted to join the profession to have a support system, to be able to talk about domestic abuse, to talk about abuse in the profession, workplace harassment, etc., so that we would be there for them. And I think that was something which was a very uphill struggle, because a lot of the male lawyers opposed it initially. We had to, just to make a women's common room, it took us 2 years, and then we finally registered ourselves as a society and as an association, and we were able to achieve that. We were able to get a common room where we would have webinars, seminars, etc. Initially, we had two people joining and attending, and now we have, whenever we have a seminar, we have at least 20 to 25 up to 100 people, which is a big achievement since 2017. And thankfully for the web, there are a lot of girls who get very inspired. We have a lot of mentorship sessions, so it's just to sort of help those entering and the profession, and for them to feel that they can actually do what they can. A little bit about myself also. So I in 2022, I was the first Pakistani woman to win the Lincolns in elections, with the 19 people all over the world, and a lot of my friends were, I was really grateful that they were part of the voting system, international voting system. So this gave a big pathway for women to stand for the Lincolns in elections, and I just thought that that there should be, there were a lot of men opposing me, saying women can't do it again. So I think that's the general theme that takes place in the legal profession, that women just can't do it. But we sort of break those barriers, and I'm glad that I could play a small part in that. Moving on from breaking barriers, I also did start my own law firm. We do at least 2 to 4 pro bono cases a month. We do domestic violence cases, sexual abuse, especially child abuse cases. I'm also part of the Save Our Children Foundation board, and through that also we try and empower children, and we empower women who have been abused domestically. So it is something that is very close to my heart. I always thought that women should not only be successful and work hard towards achieving their goals, but I also feel that women should be recognized. And I think all of these different organizations which have come up, as well as the fact that now women, and especially in the legal profession, we have a standing. If someone hears of a law firm saying there's a woman running a law firm, they know of the name, and that was never possible before, because men would just not recognize you and as being an individual lawyer or a good lawyer. So I think overall, it is something that one should, I feel that on Women's Day I'd like to speak about this, because I want women to know that nothing is unachievable. It does not matter where you come from, what you do, what your background is. At the end of the day, your hard work will be recognized. And on that note, thank you for having me.
Zahrah, you are absolutely brilliant, and again, you are an inspiration to so many, because in the legal field in Pakistan, women are very reluctant to join the legal field. They have apprehensions as to what might happen in court, and I think that you're one of those people that women look up to, girls look up to, and many people have come up to me. They have praised you, they have held you in high esteem, and absolutely, I think that your achievements go beyond Pakistan as well. And you have so many that I find it very difficult to list them. So thank you for reminding the audience of your brilliant achievements. Thank you, Zahrah.
Thank you.
And continue with whatever you're doing. You're making a huge difference in our society. Thank you. I'd like to now move on to Shafaq Arbab. And Shafaq is the manager at Salma Ghar at Kiran Foundation. So I'll just explain a little bit about how I met Shafaq. I actually did not meet her at Kiran Foundation. I met her 9 years ago at the Beach Luxury Hotel during the Karachi Literature Festival, where I had a stall for my first book. And we just casually met. I think Shafaq was just having a chat or something, and then we got into a conversation. And then I slowly and gradually got to know about Kiran Foundation. Salma Ghar at Kiran Foundation basically empowers and educates those women whose children primarily study at the Kiran School. And I've also had an opportunity to conduct quite a few law lectures or, well, legal webinars for those ladies. Shafaq has been doing an absolutely brilliant job. She is a very dedicated member of the Kiran Foundation. Shafaq, thank you so much for being here with us, and the floor is all yours now.
Thank you so much, Sana, for having me. And both of you, Tara, I've known you. I've been to your events. Sabinati speaks highly of you and your work. Thank you so much for whatever you're doing. Please continue inspiring everybody. And Zara, it is lovely meeting you. Because I work in Liari has been a very trauma-sensitive area since because of the gang wars and etc etc. Initially, it was a no-go zone, especially for the ladies from this side of the bridge. But my chairperson took a bold step. और उस जमाने में उन्होंने जो है वो यहाँ आकर she's done such brilliant work and transformed the entire community, going to houses personally, individually, talking to them, counseling the fathers, mothers, and the kids. So this is where Kiran Foundation comes in, and we're the first trauma-informed school system in Karachi, in Pakistan. DC2 was our first campus that we've acquired around 10 years ago. It's a no-fee school in the heart of Liari. And where I come in, I've been running this ladies space under Kiran Foundation, where we run the Roshni program. So what is this space about? This is a safe space. Why is it a safe space? Because it is the only women-only space in Liari where there are no cameras, you're not judged, and we have different multiple vocational trainings happening just so that the women who've been through any kind of trauma, had their families go through that, the kids have grown in that same environment, they come to our spaces and we give them any kind of help they need, whether it's mental health, counseling, therapies, workshops. So we feel that a homemaker is a mother after all. So for them, we've opened a space that I run for the community also. Initially, it was just for the Kiran Ambassador registered ladies, but because we got such high demand, it is such a nice space. Our daughters cannot go anywhere. It is walking distance. They have commute issues. Mostly their household members are on daily wages. The commute to impossible है उस side of the bridge. तो ये कितनी अच्छी safe space है. और यहाँ I try to bring in volunteers and trainers from all over the city to come and give them different trainings. ताकि थोड़ा सा upskill हो जाए. They have amazing skills. They do amazing embroidery, Balochi work. They have now, learned to make candles, everything from YouTube, self-taught. But then also we have different entrepreneurship trainings ताकि थोड़ा सा align हो जाए, अपने logos बना लें to reach to that side of the market also. So this would not have been possible without the support of the community, of course, and our donors. So thank you so much, Sana, for recognizing what I'm doing. Thank you so much.
Shafaq, when I know that things have changed now, but in previous years, whenever we would hear of Liari, again, that would be a very scary feeling for people. People were reluctant to travel to Liari. I mean, even now people are. And honestly, kudos to you, for your bravery and for doing this out of the goodwill of your heart. To be honest with you, because I know that we all have jobs, but I think that some of us go out of our way for those people who need, who need a little more than who need more recognition in this world. And I think that you're making a huge difference in a community, in an area where women are largely undermined. So hats off to you. We'll now move on to Zohra Ahmed. Zohra is heading the Jugnoo project, which is a project or a platform that has assisted victims of domestic violence through awareness and through other legal aid and other forms of assistance. I connected with Zohra back in 2021, so that's 5 years ago, when I commenced this platform, VLA. And my very first webinar, in fact, was with Zohra. And we spoke about divorce and, the legalities and all of that. We've never met in person, although we both live in the same city. And I think that that meeting is now due. But I have been seeing Zohra's work online. And I think that she has been doing an amazing job. Pakistan is a society with huge gender inequalities. We have huge cases of domestic violence. And if we have people like Zohra who are creating awareness, who are telling people about some landmark judgments, who are telling people about how she's helped victims in terms of emotional counseling, legal counseling. We need women like that. Zohra, thank you so much for joining us. Please, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, happy International Women's Day to everyone. It is an honor to be sharing the floor with such amazing women who are doing such wonderful work in their own field. I would just like to give a shout out to both Sana and Zahrah for their respective work. Yes, thank you so much, Sana, for sharing the fact that I actually started the Jugnoo project alongside Sana as well, when Sana was starting her own firm. And my first podcast was actually with Sana as well. I think that is still on YouTube somewhere. We have to find that for sure. I also want to shout out to Zahrah because, like Zahrah said, she does take up at least a couple of pro bono, low bono cases. And usually we are the ones that are sending her those cases, and she's never once said no, no matter how complicated that case is. So I'm really, really grateful for that help. I would like to introduce the Jugnoo project, specifically how we actually started out. The Jugnoo project is actually named after my maternal aunt, who was a survivor of domestic violence. And I grew up hearing about the abuse that she suffered throughout her life. I was a child. I remember my first memory of her is her screaming hysterically and having a very hysterical episode where my mom and my khala tried to control her and saying, oh, he's not going to come and you're going to be fine. My last and final memory is of her 30 years down the road in a hospital where the nurse is coming up to her and saying, I'm sorry, I don't know if there's a lot of noise in the background. Can you hear noise? Sorry,
No,
there's a
no,
lot of
go ahead.
traffic. Okay. My last memory is of her on a hospital bed just before she passed away, where the nurse in Ahan came to her and said, we have kept you for 2 months. We really cannot keep you any longer. We've used all excuses that we could possibly use to delay your leaving, but you have to leave now because you're fine. And we cannot excuse this in front of the management anymore. And we need the bed. And I remember her looking directly at my khala and saying, "Mujhe ghar jana padega na wapas." And my khala looked at her and said, "Haan, jana." And that was the first time I questioned and said, why can't she come with us? Why are there no resources for survivors if they need to get out? Why do they have to go back to the environment that is making them fall sick? And that's how the Jugnoo project was born once she passed away. We act as, we're of course a digital domestic violence resource center, but we also act as a facilitation center for survivors. So if a survivor, depending on their journey, needs, let's say, legal help, trauma therapy, transitional housing, they might need funding to get out. They may not have money for rent because the abuser is not paying anything. They need to pay for the children's education, groceries, etc. We try and, we have a network of people, of course, you guys included. And I've met some really amazing women here as well. So I hope I can add you to that network, hopefully soon. And we use that to help survivors as much as we can. I would also like to say that my journey in the Jugnoo project has kind of inspired me to also do law. So at the big old age of 31, I decided to change my career entirely and become a lawyer. Very similar to what Zahrah says, you get to hear this a lot. Oh, woman, you should stay in the company, you should do corporate law. And my first instinct was, what is the point of doing law if I cannot help survivors? I recently started my own firm. It's a very tiny little thing. I'm obviously constantly helping Zahrah, asking Zahrah and other people for help and assistance because they have their own mashallah setups. But one thing that is very common here, along all lines, all survivors that we try to help, depending on whatever social class that they come out of, um, there's this stigma with regards to domestic violence that the Jugnoo Project is very, very strongly trying to eradicate. Because if you are in an abusive relationship, no matter whether it's marriage or outside of it, you should be able to speak about it, you should get resources, and you should get help. And I think I would like to use this platform to give that message out for sure. Thank you so much, Sana, for having us here and for allowing us this platform to share our work with the world. Thank you so much.
This is a very poignant story. I know it's not a story, but I'm really sorry about your aunt, Zohra. And again, it's always fascinating to hear such stories, such emotional stories, which have led people to to enter a certain profession or to create a certain platform. And I think that you're a great niece. You're doing something absolutely remarkable. She would be absolutely proud of you. And you're never too old to pursue any career. So congratulations on pursuing a career in law. And I'm sure that you'll follow in the footsteps of this brilliant Zahrah Vayani in due course, inshallah. All right, thank you so much for that. So now we can move on to Zainab Hameed. Zainab Hameed is the founder of TeeSquare. And TeeSquare, of course, Zainab will tell you a lot more about that. But from my understanding, it is a platform where the underprivileged children are educated with tablets, which is what Zainab has shown me in one of our Rotary meetings, which is where Zainab and I met. And on a personal level, I can comment on Zainab and say that she is a lovely human being. When we were part of Rotary, we enjoyed some of the events and the meetings, and a lot of jokes. And I know that she is doing some great work in the community. In fact, all of the ladies over here who are here today are here because I know that you have been doing some amazing work for the community. And of course, this is all in line with this year's theme. Zainab, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So first of all, Sana, thank you so much for curating this and bringing us all together. As I said before we started, there is so much, so many challenges, so much negativity around us today that we do need this positive voice, this voice of sanity, voice of women coming together and sharing all the good work that's going on also, and all the good work that can be extended. So yes, and I love the theme for this year's gift to gain. I am going to be a little controversial by saying I do not enjoy celebrating International Women's Day, because I think every day is a Women's Day, because we women, I think, have to stretch much more, and we need to be celebrated every day. But of course, this is one day where we emphasize more than the others. So my career has been technology, and and I've done jobs in different kind of roles in different organizations, big fours, big corporates. And a few years ago, it seemed that there is more to do than just doing a job to enhance any one organization's technology framework. So a friend of mine and me, we said we should do something for this country. This country has given us a lot. Whether we realize it or not, not all of us can go. B, we are who we are because what we got from here. And we are privileged, so we should do something for those who've not have access to education. The state of education is dismal in this country. We have about 26.2 million children out of school who are school-going age, and half of our women have never been to school. So this is a state where we felt that we could do some work using technology to bring a reasonable change or at least start a movement. So TeeSquare is an initiative which is of offering affordable, inclusive, and empowering education for children who are out of school and for women who've never been to school. So we're trying to ignite an education revolution and trying to give them a better chance at tomorrow. We strongly believe that if every individual in Pakistan is educated, uh, our problems will disappear. We will have less challenges than we have today. Today on our platform, we have 1,600 plus learners enrolled, some who've graduated, some who are still with us. 22% of our work is with adult literacy, and 60% of overall enrollment is female enrollment. So what we realize is that using technology is more conducive for women because we take education to their doorstep. We say we one of the challenges for women is the distances that they have to walk and they have to get to. So this model is proving to be more conducive for females. We have, Alhamdulillah, graduated about 5, 6 batches. Our first women batch of women only, other than the children. Our first batch of women started at Kiran Ghar with Shafaq as the first person who was coordinating that batch. So it was a very interesting experience where Shafaq was also very supportive. And like all women who want to make a difference are always very supportive in initiatives for women. So we were able to empower them. And then beyond that, one of the most challenging batches of women that we've had to cater to is a batch in a village in Thatta, Isa Rajero, where the village was rehabilitated by after floods in 2022 by Unilever. And we had 50 women who would all come in chadars, who would not want to talk to you and me as women, and who by the end of their first term were able to read English out of their workbooks for us. So it was amazing results that we got from them, and it was very encouraging. It was and at one of my visits, what they told me was so touching is that we हमें छोड़ दें बाजी हमारे बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं. So this is their inert woman thing. I said, नहीं आपको भी पढ़ाएंगे आपके बच्चों को भी पढ़ाएंगे. Why not you? Because that's how women feel, right? So whoever most of the women tell us that they have gained more confidence now that they can read and write. They have started to help their children, and some of the women who have been part of our programs have gotten better jobs. Rather than working as housemaids, they've now started getting jobs in factories. They're doing their own businesses. And this is just a journey. This is just the start of a journey. And we feel that TeeSquare could become one vehicle or one program that could eradicate illiteracy in this country. So this is one of my core areas. Other than that, for women, I am the ISACA's Karachi chapter. She leads Tech Liaison, which is a governance and risk body. And I'm also Women in Cybersecurity's Pakistan affiliate president. So I do multiple pieces for women. I strongly believe that women in tech also get stuck. So She Leads Tech is a program which engages, empowers, and elevates women. And women get stuck in their careers midway, especially in technology. So they need help to come up. So I try to do that too. And meeting Sana, one of the reasons for my joining Rotary was Sana. When I think I met Sana about a year ago only. It's not been very long, or a little less. But one of the reasons, although I've been a Rotary family, but one of the reasons to join the particular club was because Sana was there, and now she's not. But then again, to see that very accomplished women are part of the club, and it would be great networking to come in and be with them. So thank you once again, everyone, for the great work you all are doing. And thank you for Sana for putting us all here and sharing what we're doing. It is very heartwarming and encouraging that we're not alone. These are all struggles that we have, but we have a whole village community supporting us.
That's absolutely brilliant, Zainab. Thank you so much for that. I wasn't even aware of all of the other things that you were doing, but you're absolutely right. I think that we haven't, I think it's lesser than a year since we first met. Um, Zainab, I just want to pick on something that you said about those women from Thatta and women in general from underprivileged communities, that we have Alhamdulillah, as privileged women, we have many amenities and many privileges in our society which they don't have. And sometimes when we look at these women, if we even look at our own household stuff, if I look at my own maid, I think that her struggles, her accomplishments are absolutely huge because she did not have the luxuries that we had. For example, had they had the same amount of money or education that we had, perhaps they would also be lawyers and accountants and doctors, but they did not have those opportunities, unfortunately. And they have their own daily struggles of cooking with very little gas, of looking after their elderly parents, of looking after their young children, going through a divorce. And those are all sorts of things that they carry with them silently. So I think, Zainab, the fact that you're doing something so remarkable for, especially for underprivileged women, you're giving them this platform to educate them, the fact that they've graduated as well is absolutely remarkable. So thank you so much for being a part of this webinar. I'm going to move on to probably, I think, Sarah, you might be the youngest out of all of us today. And Zehra, I met last year at the British Council when I was delivering a session on sexual harassment. And I got to know that Zehra won the UK Alumni Award for Best Culture, the Best Culture and Creativity Award I think it was last year. And she runs Dastaan Tours, which is a tourism company. And I've seen some of the brilliant work that she has been doing, some of the photography and the way that she has captured Pakistan. It gives you a completely different perspective of the country. And it is definitely wonderful to see women, and especially women of all ages, by the way, irrespective, and especially younger women who are doing so much for the country to promote it, to create a good image. And, I think some of you rightly said that we owe all of this to our country. I don't think that we would have achieved it because had we not been a part of Pakistan. So, Zehra, over to you.
First of all, thank you so much, Sana. And I just feel so inspired after listening to everybody, share their experiences. I think it's a lovely space to be in, given all the negativity and the negative thinking that I've been going through since the past couple of weeks because of, this global crisis. And, it's moments like these where, you get that motivation boost and you get that kick, that you are not alone in this journey, and there are people around you who are also going through challenges, also, multitasking and managing their homes and their careers and their studies. And it's remarkable, especially, when you realize that, a career shift is not easy, right? And also, I'm not that young. I might look younger, but I'm not. So, just to, give you all a disclaimer regarding that, but thank you. I'm going to take it as a compliment, Sana. Uh, Regarding my journey, I've transitioned in terms of academics quite a lot. Like I did my undergrad in social sciences and then moved to Islamic studies and Muslim civilizations, and then ended up doing my master's in tourism and development studies. And what I realized was that there's a calling in your life, and you really need to be connected in your heart and your soul in terms of taking the right decisions. Because if it's not aligned, right, then even if you are in the best sector, and this is best sector in terms of financially, even if you are, making a good lot of money, if it does not give you satisfaction, then you just, you lose meaning in your life. So I've always been somebody who wants to take her career on a slower pace. That's all right, but it should add substance and meaning and knowledge and experience to my forte. Otherwise, I lose interest. I don't know if that's a problem or I should take it positively, but anyway, it has worked out for me, alhamdulillah, so no complaints. And that calling, especially when I was living in the UK for my higher education, and looking around, especially visiting the British Museum, and having that aha moment, oh, like all of these collections are from Asia and Africa. And we have a lot of colonial heritage and buildings back in Pakistan as well. But then again, since I come from very mixed roots from Balochistan and Sindh, right? So I always used to wonder, here we have so much in terms of music, in terms of, performing art, in terms of food. Like Pakistanis, jab baat karte hain, they talk about food, especially being a Karachiite. I have analyzed food. I talk about food, and it's everybody, right? And that's when I realized that we actually take our cultural heritage for granted, and that's where you can uh, promote and present as women a counter narrative to how Pakistani women are judged when you start living in the West. And it's very important, because if you don't, and you kind of come into this colonial mindset कि नहीं, सारी खवातीन के साथ ही जुल्म होता है, and there is no counter narrative, there are no examples to look up to, right? Like just like the Uzra Dawood also, in her collection, she gave that example that, she was inspired by Benazir Bhutto. And these are counter narratives that we need to present as Pakistani women to the world. कि नहीं जी, सब कुछ भी इतना बुरा नहीं है. There are people who are actually working on the ground for collective, women's emancipation. It's not like कि सब कुछ ही खराब है. There is a lot of momentum. Like we could not even think about Aurat March, before 2015, but then, it sprung up, and there are challenges. I'm not going to deny that, but at least there are counter narratives. There are women who are working day in and day out for, collective women's emancipation in all sorts, right? Not just financially, but also economic independence, and her legal rights, like my esteemed co-panelist also mentioned. And then there are people who are working for girls' education as well. So, these voices, I felt that they need to be heard on a global scale. And what better way to do it than make, short films? Then, start your own social enterprise, start your own company where you can do all of this marvelous work, and, present it globally, where you challenge these broad narratives, right? Because they used to really bother me when I used to, study, especially at King's, where, they used to feel like, oh, how come you were never, beaten up? Oh, how come your father allowed you to study abroad without a male guardian? And these questions are highly burning questions, because they make you think. They also make you appreciate the kind of privileges that you were born up with, right? So even though I was born and brought up in a community that promotes, equality and equity, and, gives you a route to access those resources. However, it's on our individual responsibility as well to be able to share that time and the knowledge and the information and the expertise that you gain over the years with the broader community as well. So I chose a very different path, and I still get questioned by my colleagues, some of my friends, as to why I, ended up registering my own organization. And I felt, it was I felt it was a necessity. Why don't we have women into tourism sector? Why are they all? Because they serve a big backbone in the way the sector is run, right? Like tourism employs 1 out of 10 people globally. That's the ratio, and the contribution of the sector is 10%. To the global GDP. However, if you look at the participation and the contribution of women in this sector, they are literally absent. And same goes with the handicraft sector as well. Like they are the ones, 90% of them work in agriculture, 90% of them work in the handicrafts industry. However, they don't get a fair wage because there are middlemen involved in in the route. And it's so important that, you don't just empower them in the sense of giving them visibility, but also like my esteemed panelist mentioned initially as well, like financial and digital literacy are the key. Because if even if she's earning but she doesn't have her bank sorted on her name, and if the husband or the son or the brother-in-law is taking the money, right? And it's them who are registered on Easy Pesa and Jazz Cash and not the woman, and she's not getting the money. She doesn't have a say in the way the money gets spent. These are burning questions, and these questions needs to be addressed. So that's where I, some basically, did a very strategic study, and also my interventions have always been this should go parallel. We cannot address questions on poverty. We cannot address questions on injustice from a singular legal or financial or economic lens. It has to be interdisciplinary. And that's where I try. I mean, I'm not saying that I did like marvelous interventions. I am trying, I'm still on the journey. And the idea is to strategically link this up so that women are empowered holistically. And that's how I look at the definition of women empowerment. And we are all part of this process. We're all, playing our part. And I strongly feel that cultural heritage, tourism sectors, handicraft sectors still need to evolve a lot, especially in Pakistan's context, because we are way, way behind. We rank really low in terms of global, women gender equality index. And when I talk about my own sector particularly, we are just three women in Pakistan Association of Tour Operators who are running their legally registered organizations. And we need more voices. We need more people who can actually drive policy changes in the long run. So it's going to be a long journey. It sure is really challenging given the geopolitical situation and the cancellations of flights and stuff. But I'm hopeful that, Katra Katra Darya, we will be able to achieve tremendous amounts of progress if we continue this momentum. And that's what matters the most. And that's where, we take inspiration from our own religion. Like, if we, uh, whenever somebody critiques me, right? Because initially, in the initial years when you're establishing, you get a lot of critique, unfortunately, especially in our society. And I always used to counter them and say that, you know, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's own wife, his beloved wife, Bibi Khadija Rizatullah Anha, was a businesswoman. And she was the initial financier of the spread of our beautiful religion. So, उस जमाने में भी वो शाना बशाना करे थे. Or, the reason why the concept and this beautiful religion spread and Prophet himself got a lot of support was because the money was coming from, a businesswoman. So let's not say that it's not allowed in Islam, or it's our culture and it's our mindset that are the blocks, and that's where we need to play our parts. So again, thank you so much for inviting me to this important conversation. And it's important that we work collectively for this common goal, because it's a common pain point for most of us. Again, happy Women's Day to all of you and to our viewers. And yeah, let's join hands to really be able to accelerate this process. Thank you so much.
What a trailblazer you are, Sarah. And when I see people like you, I am often reminded of how of the diversity of talents, uh, skills, and innovation that exists in Pakistan. Especially when it comes to women, and especially when it comes to such a unique field as yours. And as you said, there are only three women who are in your field who are doing some remarkable work. I think it just goes to show that completely hats off to you. And I'm sure that in due course, many women will join you as well, as they have an inspiring figure such as yourself. So keep doing the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. We are just running out of time, but we have one more person, Uzma. But I would like all of you just to stay here because once Uzma finishes speaking, I'm just going to conclude the webinar, and I would also then like you all to stay just to take one screenshot. And so just don't go away just yet. Uzma, thank you for joining us. Now, just a little bit about Uzma. She is a gender specialist, and she will tell you more about what she does. She does a lot. So I can't even start because I think I'll probably get it wrong. But I'll tell you about my friendship with her. So basically, it started with her husband, not with her, and he was with me at Rotary. So many of my friendships have started at Rotary. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. And then I got to know Uzma, and I got to know of the excellent work that she has been doing in communities as a gender specialist, breaking barriers in Pakistan. Uzma and I are not just, we're not just professionally connected, but we are good friends. She is a wonderful human being. She has always supported me. She has always listened to me, and I think this is one of the reasons why, I wanted to have this webinar to include not just those women who have professionally achieved something, but those women who are absolutely wonderful human beings. Uzma, thank you for being who you are, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Sana. And first of all, congratulations to all of you on this International Women's Day. And I second Zainab because I don't believe that Women's Day is a one day. I believe that every day is a Women's Day because they are doing their best. They are a very resilient women, and in each and every one capacity, they are doing their best. And Sana, I am very happy that you organized this webinar, or especially in these tense situations when we all are very tense, sad, and worse. And this is even in this 1 hour, I feel that I am getting more energy, being more positive after attending this. Well, my journey. I am by profession, as Sana said, a gender specialist. Gender is basically, if you see the history of women and development in 1970s, women was included in the development work, and it was considered as a women in development. And then they realized that women in development, and when the focus in the development sector was on women, they realized that no, development cannot be done until men and women both work together, or any project and any policy for both of them. Then in 1980s, there is a woman called, I think, Brown something, and she introduced this term genders. So after it, 1980s, the term is used to focus both men and women in all development and in all sectors of socio-economic developments. Well, my journey, as you know, that's when I was a child. I think I am the oldest one in this group. So my parents was only dreamed me the doctor, and they did their best. And but unfortunately, I did not get admission in a medical college. Even they tried to private and something, but God has different plan for me. So after BSc, when I got admission in MS, I realized that's what I am doing, because you see, when you do any work, and I think you all are amazing women, and you are inner mostly satisfied, inner satisfaction to doing what doing. And then I realized that's what I will do after this MSc in chemistry and biochemistry. And in those days, the women studies department was introduced at the Karachi University, and then I took admission and did women masters in women studies. Was an amazing, because it's covered the women role in law, women role in health, women role in education, even environment, how environment is affecting women. And then I started my career at Aga Khan University Institute for Educational Development as a research associate. And after that, I got British Council Chevening Scholarship. So I did gender in development from Institute of Development Studies, University of Sussex. After that, I worked for different UN agencies and international NGOs for different women and girls projects uh, and different government sectors. Currently, my work is I'm a gender specialist at Education and Literacy Department, Government of Sindh, and it is a job project called SELECT, which is abbreviation of Sindh Early Learning Enhancement through Classroom Transformation. Basically, you see that this gender discrimination, this violence, these are all learned behaviors. It is inbuilt. So the thing is that we need to do to address the root cause. And one of the root cause is our education, which promotes discriminations, which have a uh, uh, different parameters for girls and boys to success or to achieve things. So in this project, goal is to integrate gender in all project activities. In Sindh, you know that out of number of out of school children are very high, and within them, the girls number is very high. So one of the reasons that your school buildings are not gender and inclusive. There is no wash facilities for girls. There is no MHM facilities for them. So in this, one of the component of my project is constructions of newly government schools, and for that I have developed a gender inclusion checklist for the schools, in which I try my best. That's what are the reasons for research shows that out reasons of out of school children, especially girls, to address them. And not only girls, but we focus on inclusion, disability. So you see, how can a child who use a wheelchair can come to the school when there is no ramp for the school? And when how can a blind child come to school when you don't have tactile tiles for move to him? And how can a specially able teacher can come to the school when there is no washroom for him or her? So in these checklists I try my best to include all these things, and within my projects we have constructed 295 schools in 12 districts of Sindh, and alhamdulillah the checklist has been implemented, and all these facilities are there for teachers. And beside this, we have work on teacher training and the soft components. So integrating gender, and you see there is a lot of gender discrimination within our textbooks, within our curriculum, in which we shows that women are inferior, women are doing household jobs which considered as a low grade jobs, and the father is going in the field and the boy is going to the school and the girls is doing mopping and all these things. So I try to my best to include it. We have developed reading and teaching and learning materials, and the storybooks. So I have prepared a gender checklist. So when the textbooks writers and developers write a book and some things, so they follow the checklist, that they are not doing any things which create discriminations. Because you see, this gender discrimination and violence, these are all the things which we learned over time, and it's really difficult. So the thing is, the best time is in the childhood, when the children youngs to say. Beside this, there is a unfortunately we have a corporal punishment law. Zehra Vayani is here and she knows. And you see, when I conducted a training for education managers, which are the district level PD or district education officers, or the Arbab, and according to this Child Protection Restraint Act 2013 in Sindh, the corporal punishment in ban, and you see that people are not aware of it. The education managers who are responsible to leading or heading these schools, they don't know that there is a law exist, forgetted that implementation. And according to that law, they are supposed to make the child protection committees within a school. So we did the capacity, we do the capacity building in terms of that. And this women protection against harassment of women at workplace acts, it is in all workplaces. Even the DO office and the education department is also must have a committee of protection against harassment, but they don't have it. So we try to promote all these things. Well, these are the things, small things, which I'm trying my best in my capacity, and I'm very happy because when you do the work at the public sector, you have a very large scale of impact and you bring the change. And prior to this, I was at Karachi Neighborhood Improvement Project. It's a planning and development department, government of Sindh, and it's a public spaces public spaces and infrastructure development projects. So you see, when you go to the public space, have you ever found at the ramp, mostly in Pakistan, and especially in parks, in Korangi in Sadar because my project's in this. So I try my best to include the gender and inclusive initiatives within the public spaces. So I am trying my best, and as Sana says, I try my best to be a good person, to be a good human being, because I believe the technical knowledge, the expertise are much more in this world. We need good humans. And give to gain, the theme, in terms of theme, yes, it's an amazing themes. And I would like to request Sana, let's try to do a meetup where we all meet and see how can we do the hand holding of each other, how can we promote each other, and how can we make a difference in this world by joining hands of each other. So thank you, Zehra. Thank you, Sana.
Thank you so much, Uzma. That was absolutely brilliant. My God, you have achieved so much. It's just awe-inspiring. Zehra, because we are now running out of time, my request is if you can bring all of these boxes, if you can enlarge all of them, bring them all together so that I can just conclude this. And I'm also going to request you to take a screenshot. So yeah, Uzma, if you can just kindly turn your camera on as well, just so that we can all, take a picture together and remember this memorable day. So, Zehra, can you just, yeah, okay, maybe I'll try and do it from my end. 1 second. Okay.
Sure.
So, ladies, thank you so very much for joining this webinar today. I can't tell you how delighted I was to see you all, to hear your narratives, to hear about your journeys. And these past couple of days, or the past couple of weeks, have been very stressful for everybody because of what's happening in the world. And even in the coming weeks, we don't know exactly what will happen. But whilst we are on this topic of International Women's Day, I would also say that for those women who are in war zones, uh, for those children and for those girls, especially who are suffering, uh, my heart goes out to you all. And I hope and pray to the Almighty that things are resolved, because it is a terrible place to be in. And something that I should have, in fact, said at the very outset of this webinar, but I'm saying it now, that I offer my deepest and sincerest condolences to the families of those who lost their children in Iran in the bombings, the 180 plus school children. The images have been absolutely heart-wrenching. It's absolutely horrible, and violence is never acceptable. Um, but of course, again, coming back to today's theme, the purpose behind this webinar, of course, was to thank you all for playing an important role in my life and in the lives of others. I've had first-hand experience with you all. And I would just like to say something on a professional note, because I haven't spoken about myself. And I don't want to say anything about my legal background, because we've already had some brilliant lawyers over here doing some brilliant work. But I will say a few things in the capacity of a writer of Victorian Gothic fiction, that this is something that I did because this is where my passion was, and it still is. Even if I want to write about something in the modern world, I just can't. I think perhaps many people think that I'm a reincarnation of one of the old Victorian era writers. I might be, I don't know. But I have a strong affinity with that particular era. And the reason why I'm actually emphasizing this is because there are many people in Pakistan, both men and women, especially women and young girls, who have a lot of talent, who can write very beautifully, who can write novellas, who can write poetry, but they feel like they just can't get something done. My advice to you is just get it done. Do not worry about the editing process. Do not worry about the publishing process. I receive many questions or queries about how is this published. So forget it. You can self-publish it, but just go ahead and write it. And unless and until you don't write something, you're just not going to get anywhere. I've just recently published my sixth book, And this is something that I haven't told anybody yet, but you guys are the first to know that I have now commenced writing my seventh. Yes, it is also a Victorian Gothic horror story. I'm not going to tell you much because it's all going to come out from time to time on Facebook. But the whole point is that we should encourage one another to pursue whatever we are passionate about. We should all be there to support one another, especially as women. And we should always remember something, that we all are human beings. We all have flaws. We are not perfect people. But as friends and as professionals, I'm requesting everybody to look beyond the flaws, to forgive one another, to love one another, and to stand with one another. And on this note, I think that this was the image that is what I saw, give to gain, which which shows or demonstrates give to gain. So if we can all just do this, and then if you can kindly it's great. And it's just a little like this. So it's just to show everybody that we're giving something. I think you might not be able to show in your hand, but yeah, if you can just take a screenshot, that would be great, because I'm not very tech savvy. I think you're better than me.
Can somebody help me with this? Because I
Oh,
don't know how to take it.
okay.
I'm
You know
logging
what?
in into from a new setup.
I
Yeah.
will take a
You know what?
I've
That's
screenshot,
been
don't
perfectly
taking
worry.
So
screenshots
sorry.
throughout if you want, but okay, no, go ahead.
I'll
Or
do
we
it.
can take turns. Thank you.
okay.
Is
So
somebody taking
who
it?
who has volunteered to do it?
Yeah. Thank you
Okay,
so
then.
much,
Okay,
Zainab. Thank you.
great. So 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay, brilliant. So Zainab, Tara, Zehra, Zahrah, Shafaq, Zohra, and Uzma. Thank you a million times for joining me today. Ramzan Mubarak to you. Please do pray for each other and pray for, well, obviously pray for um, this horrible situation to come to a speedy conclusion. And I wish you all the best. And post Eid, let's all please meet up. I love you all so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Love you
Thank
Sana.
you
too.
so
Thank you,
Love you to all
everyone.
much.
of you.
Take
Allah
care. Allah
See you,
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah
Thank
Thank
you.
Hafiz.
you.
Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
Thank
And
you.
you.
Ramzan Mubarak again as well.
Same.
Same,
Ramzan
same.
Mubarak to you
Okay.
as
Remember
to
us
you
in your
as well.
duas.
Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Thank you so much,
Great.
Sana.
No, thank you
I'm
so much.
sorry, I don't know how to take a screenshot on my laptop. I'm so
Oh, that's fine.
sorry. But
I think you can stop recording so that we can conclude
oh
the webinar.
yes,
Yeah.
1 second. Where is it?
And thank you to the
Uh,
audience for listening to all of our narratives. All the best.
thank you. Bye bye.